You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Coming up, Jana Smith from the Four States Heart Walk heads into the studio to tell us everything we need to know about this year's Heart Walk event.
That's right. And also, authorities bring 2 counts of theft and 16 counts of forgery against a Southeast Kansas woman. We'll explain why.
Let's take a look at your forecast from the Skywatch Weather Center. That's next.
The Four States Most Watched News starts now.
Thanks for joining us for the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. The Joplin Fire Marshal investigates the cause of the fire that swept through an apartment building on Thursday. The fire was reported at 1221 East 9th Street just after 5:30 Thursday morning. Everyone inside managed to escape safely. Firefighters were on the scene for several hours. Fire was fanned by high winds with gusts up to 30 miles per hour. Southeast Kansas woman is charged with forgery and theft from the law firm where she worked. Alexis Metcalf is charged with 2 counts of theft and of services and 16 counts of forgery dealing with checks. Authorities say the thefts allegedly came from the attorney office of Mason and Clark Law Office in Fort Scott, Kansas, and amounted to more than $25,000. The dates of the alleged thefts range from 2017 through 2021. On Thursday, protesters outside the Montgomery County, Kansas courthouse gathered to spread awareness about the dangers of fentanyl. They say their goal is to seek justice for loved ones they lost and harsher punishments for anyone who's caught with the drug. U.S. Senator Roger Marshall of Kansas is pushing for federal legislation called the Cooper-Davis Act. It's named after a Johnson County teen who lost his life to a fentanyl overdose. It would require social media companies to report all illicit drug activity occurring on their platform to law enforcement.
We can stand up for Montgomery County, and we can let these people know that we need tougher punishments for the people who have it, who are in possession with it, who are out here distributing it. We need tougher punishments.
According to the CDC, there were a little more than 90,000 fentanyl overdose deaths in 2020. The Ozark Center in Joplin hosts monthly events focusing on mental health and substance issues during their Innovate Solutions campaign. This month's event focused on sharing stories of recovery, giving people a space to voice their experiences about their ongoing journey to recovery, reminds people why the path to recovery is so important.
I'd just like to let folks know that there's hope and there's help out there, and there's a lot of people probably watching this evening that think that they're all alone, but that's just not the case. There are hundreds of people that are ready to help, and we're here, and so we hope that you reach out.
Next month's event will be focused on living with autism. Coming up later in the show, our own Amber Jenkins takes us to the Ozark Center in Joplin for a closer look at this story. We'll move over Stonehenge. The Windy City has its own unique way to mark the fall equinox. It's called Chicagoenge. Yep, around September 22nd every year, you can see the sunrise and the sunset looking down the east-west streets of downtown Chicago. That's cool. The second city's grid pattern is perfectly designed to frame the sun between the skyscrapers on each side of the road. It only happens twice a year. Look for the phenomenon again during the spring equinox in March of 2023. That's cool. What a great image.
And today is actually the first full day of fall because fall actually arrived technically last night at about 8:05 last night. So today is the first full day of fall, and it's going to feel a little bit like fall, especially this morning with temperatures in the 50s and also some rain showers. But of course, we'll have more details on that in our forecast in a little bit. Let's zoom in and show you what's going on up to the north in Emporia, around Burlington and also Coffee County. A few scattered showers this morning, also down into Greenwood County around Eureka as well. Temperatures in the 50s, so it certainly feels like fall out there. 58 in Parsons, 59 in Chinook, also 59 in Fort Scott. Our friends over in Carthage, 62 degrees this morning, 57 in Monette. A little bit cooler down in Oklahoma with 54. For our friends down in Jay. If you're heading over to the football game tonight in Nixa, where the Joplin Eagles are going to be taking them on, 74 for your kickoff temperature, nice and pleasant conditions, and around halftime, 71 degrees. Maybe a little bit of a light jacket might be needed, but all in all, not a bad forecast. And I'll have the 7-day coming up in just a little bit, so you want to stay tuned for that.
All right, up next, a new report shows more than 4 million Americans received their updated COVID-19 boosters. We'll have the details. And later, the Neosho Area Habitat for Humanity joins forces with the Build with Strength Coalition to bring 2 unique homes to the area. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. In Health Watch this morning, the CDC is reporting 4.4 million Americans have gotten their updated COVID-19 boosters. It's likely the actual number is even higher since the numbers do not yet include the doses given in Idaho and Texas. The new boosters not only protect against the original strain of coronavirus, but also the Omicron BA4 and 5 subvariants. A new White House campaign is urging Americans to get the updated booster at the same time as their flu shot. But some are worried that effort will be hampered by President Biden's declaration on 60 Minutes that the pandemic is over. The Food and Drug Administration put out guidance Thursday aimed at boosting access to the life-saving overdose drug naloxone. The change is meant to help harm reduction programs more easily access the opioid antidote by making them exempt from certain FDA rules. The American Medical Association said new guidance provides more clarity for those organizations to buy naloxone for community distribution. The AMA lauded the work of harm reduction programs and expressed gratitude for the FDA recognizing the importance of the work.
Good news. All right, let's take a look at the radar. We have a few showers on radar this morning up towards the north and west, especially up around Emporia, also Burlington, and over towards Eureka. Most of the shower activity is going to stay to the north. I wish we had more down into our area, but at least the folks up in the northern counties are going to get a little bit of sprinkle activity this morning, maybe a little bit of light showers. But by afternoon, most of this is going to be going away, and we're going to go back to dry weather across our area. Temperatures, though, this morning are very pleasant if you're heading out. 62 in Carthage, 61 in Joplin, 59 in Fort Scott, also Chanute, 58 in Yates Center. A little bit cooler over in Sedan, where they're currently sitting at 54, also 54 down in Jay. And for our friends in Northwest Arkansas, around Bentonville and Bella Vista, 59 degrees on the hour. If you're heading out today at lunch, it's going to be great. Partly cloudy skies with around 79 degrees. By afternoon, we'll top out at about 82 with mostly sunny skies, and that continues into 5 o'clock with a temperature of 80. And if you're heading over to the football game there in Nixa, or any of the football games in our local area tonight, generally temperatures will be in the mid-70s around kickoff time. And then as we look at the future forecast for this afternoon and around lunch, temperatures in the mid-70s for the most part, maybe close to 80 down in Oklahoma with Veneta at 81. Same thing in Chelsea, Bartlesville, as well as the Ville. A little bit cooler up to the north, though, 69 in Eureka, 64 up in Garnett. Then as we go through the afternoon, though, we're going to see temperatures in the mid-80s across our area, upper 80s down in Nowata with 89. A little bit cooler up to the north, though, in Garnett with 70 and 75 in Mountain City with maybe some showers still up in that area. Then as we go through Saturday, we're going to see lows right around 70 degrees Saturday morning, maybe some 50s up to the north. But check out Saturday afternoon. More sunshine and the heat returns with highs in the upper 80s to around 90 degrees, around 91 in Joplin, which would, by the way, set another record. These are not the kind of records we like to set this time of year. Then as we go into Saturday night into Sunday morning, lows will generally be right around 60 degrees. Once again, a little bit cooler up to the north with upper 50s. And then as we move into Sunday afternoon, at least a little bit more seasonable because you can see northerly winds bringing in some cooler and drier air behind a front. 79 in Yates Center, around 83, 84 degrees in Joplin. Then as we go into Monday morning, we're going to see lows pretty chilly, especially up to the north, around 50, maybe even some upper 40s in some locations, isolated river valleys. 53 ought to do it here in Joplin. Over the next 7 days, here's your record high for tomorrow, 91, and then on Sunday, 83 degrees, and then Monday, 80, and then upper 70s to around 80 degrees early next week, and lows in the 40s, making it feel a little bit more comfortable. Then as we head into next weekend for the Heart Walk on Saturday, around 89 degrees and 90 for Sunday and 88 on Monday. And unfortunately, no precipitation anywhere in that forecast. Stay with us because we're going to have more information about the Heart Walk right after this.
Welcome back. We've got more details about this next weekend's Heart Walk. We have Janice Smith in studio here to share her story as well, of course, the Heart Walk October 1st at the Leggett and Platt Center at Missouri Southern. Real briefly, let's give those details of what goes on and then we'll get into your story.
Yeah, absolutely. Saturday, October 1st, and Missouri Southern Athletic Center. starts at 9 o'clock is when the event starts. The actual walk will start at 10 a.m. We're going to have lots of fun things for families and folks that come to the event. Joplin Avenue Coffee is even going to be there with free coffee, so It's going to be a great event.
All right, get everybody awake and ready to go.
Yes.
And you can register in advance.
You can.
But you don't have to. You can show up that day as well.
Correct, yeah. We've had about 250 folks already that have registered for the event in teams, but absolutely, you can show up at 9 a.m. On Saturday the 1st and join us.
And one thing that's really interesting about events like this, it's a great way to show up and share stories with other people as well. I know there'll be a lot of heart survivors there.
Yes.
Our own KOAM's Jordan Obby will be there. That's exciting. He'll be seeing the events.
Yes.
And then you have people like yourself who have a different kind of awareness that you want to bring to heart health.
Yeah, absolutely. So my why, we talk a lot about our why and why we're involved. When I was 16 years old, my mom passed away of a heart attack, and she was only 34 years old when she died. Her mom, my grandma, died of a heart attack when she was only 31 years old.
Wow.
And 2 weeks before my mom passed, my aunt had a heart attack and a quadruple bypass, and she was only 33. So obviously the women in my family have been affected at a very early age, early 30s. I was actually 34 years old when my son was born. So I was the same age when I had my son as when my mom died. So I think it's really important, especially women, because we're wives and we're mothers and we work and we sometimes put ourselves last. And it's really important because also women, if we have a heart attack, our symptoms are oftentimes different than they are with men. And heart disease is the #1 killer. It actually kills more people than all forms of cancer combined. It is oftentimes a silent killer. The good news is that the majority of heart disease is preventable. So it's really important, and it also knows no age. Our survivor for this event is Logan. She's a 4-year-old little girl. She's a twin, and she had open heart surgery about 6 months ago, and I've not met her yet, so I'm very excited to meet her at the event. But she is thriving, from what I've been told, and she'll be at the event as well. So again, heart disease doesn't care how old you are. It doesn't care if you're 4 years old. It doesn't care if you're a woman in your very early 30s and a mother.
So you knew at a young age that you had family history of heart disease.
Yes.
And so what were you able to do to make it past that 34 mark?
Yeah, so that's a really great question. So I work for Arvest Bank, who's a sponsor of the event, by the way, and I've been with them for 22 years. And when I was 23 years old, I participated in my first heart health or health assessment that Arvest provides at no charge, and found out that I had high cholesterol. I was 23 years old. I was in very good shape, and my cholesterol was around 300. And so I went to my family doctor, who sent me to a cardiologist. I've been under the care of a cardiologist since I was 23. I go annually. I am on medication for cholesterol. So it's really important to know your numbers. Men, women, know your cholesterol, know your triglycerides, know what your blood pressure is, know your numbers, get your 10,000 steps in a day, but just make sure that you're aware of your body.
Stay active.
Yes.
Yeah. Were you surprised when you saw that your cholesterol was high? I mean, you knew you had the history, but you felt healthy.
Yeah.
You were fit.
Again, it can be a silent killer. And again, I was 23 years old and I was very healthy, and I knew it was something I would probably have to address at some point in my life, because again, early 30s is very early just in general. I did not expect to find out in my early 20s that I needed to go on a medication that early to save my life. And honestly, that very well could have saved my life. And as I said, I do see my cardiologist on an annual basis. But I just want to remind people again that you can feel healthy, you can look healthy, you may not be overweight, but you may have high cholesterol, you may have high triglycerides, you may have high blood pressure. And it's really, really important to talk to your doctor.
Mm-hmm. And this event next Saturday is a great way to come out and check out the resources available.
Yes.
Learn more.
Yeah, we'll have blood pressure screenings. We're going to have teaching people hands-only CPR. It's going to be educational. It's going to be fun. So, yes.
Mm-hmm. And then you can walk.
And then you can walk and help get in those 10,000 steps that you're supposed to get in every day.
All right, well, thank you so much for
Yes.
joining us this morning,
You
Jana.
bet.
And you can find more information and details and how to register if you'd like to do that as well, and fundraise for the event on our website coming up a little bit later this morning, KOAMnewsnow.com.
Yep.
We'll be right back. It's time to honor today's four-state hero, Bobby Lee. The Jasper, Missouri native served in the Philippines from 1944 to 1946. To Bobby Lee, we thank you, today's four-state hero. The Neosho Area Habitat for Humanity partnered with the National Ready Mixed Concrete Association's Build with Strength Coalition to construct 2 unique homes.
And KOAM's Sagun Bamidele, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, I apologize.
That's pretty close.
Okay,
Yeah.
has more about what makes them different.
The Neosho Area Habitat for Humanity and the National Ready Mix Concrete Association teamed up to build 2 affordable homes in Neosho. The projects represent the first Neosho Habitat homes to use insulated concrete forms.
These are styrofoam and plastic forms that go up much like Lego blocks. They're hollow. Once the walls of the home are built, then concrete is poured inside those homes to make a very strong, a very energy efficient home.
Coalition member Greg Lewis says these homes will reduce energy costs for the residents.
It's typically better than 50% reduction in energy costs to heat and cool one of these ICF and concrete homes.
As you can see right behind me, there's a lot of construction and volunteers here. Officials tell me that most of the volunteers here are from high school and Crowder College, who are using and seizing this opportunity to get real-world experience and also some school credit.
We as the ICF manufacturers have also come into this organization through the partnership with our association, the ICFMA, and so we are donating our time and effort to help get these projects accomplished.
There's been a lot of them. They've been absolutely invaluable. So they are, they're volunteers, but they are also getting school credit for this as well.
Jamie Speck is a single mother and an elementary school teacher moving into one of these homes. She says she is very grateful.
It's amazing. We're so excited, and it's been a process, and it's usually like these really exciting things don't happen all the time, and it's thrilling.
In Neosho, Segun Bamidele, KOAM News.
Well, Habitat for Humanity has built 18 affordable homes in Neosho. What a great organization.
That is a great
Habitat.
organization. We have some great weather to talk about a little bit. It's a little bit chilly out there this morning, especially down in Oklahoma. That's right. We better not complain. We're complaining about the lack of rainfall. That's one thing. But temperatures this morning down in Oklahoma are cooler than it was yesterday morning at this time. But it's a little bit warmer this morning up in our northern counties than it was. So it's been a flip-flop kind of situation this morning. And temperatures are still pretty pleasant. Radar right now does show some showers up around Emporia and also near Burlington, extending down towards Yates Center just a little bit. Zooming in a little bit closer, and you can see those showers are basically straddling I-35 now up towards Ottawa. Most of the shower activity this morning is going to stay to the north. I wish a lot of this would make its way to the south, but unfortunately, we're going to have to wait a little bit longer before we start to see some rainfall in our local area. Right now it's 58 in Iola, also in Yates Center with those sprinkles, 59 in Chanute, 58 in Parsons. Here in Joplin, we're now in the 60s at 61, also 61 in Neosho, as well as our friends over in Carthage. Right now, beautiful sunrise, look at that. Here in Joplin, we're sitting at 61 degrees, south-southeast winds at 10 miles per hour. It feels like 61, dew point is 49, so the humidity is at 64%. And the pressure is currently steady. If you're planning your day, it looks like it's going to be a great one. 82 with partly cloudy skies, lunchtime around 79, 80 degrees at 5 o'clock, and by this evening, we're going to be seeing temperatures in the mid-70s across the area. Your future track, again this afternoon, we're going to see highs in the 80s, but first we're going to see lunchtime temperatures in the mid-70s across the area with those showers up towards the north. Then as we go through the afternoon, highs in the upper 80s down in Oklahoma, around 82, 83 here in Joplin. Then as we go through tonight into tomorrow, we start out in the upper 60s to right around 70 degrees. Then as we go through the day, we're going to start to see temperatures approaching that record of 91 degrees for your high. I'll be back in a minute with your 7-day forecast right after this.
Four States Most Watched News starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:29. Crawford County Sheriff's deputies respond to a shooting at a mobile home park. At approximately 7 p.m. Thursday, deputies responded to 121 Glen Way, Whispering Pines mobile home park to the reports of a male subject shot. Upon arrival, deputies located a male in the road with gunshot injuries. That man was identified as 34-year-old Anthony Hogue of Pittsburgh, Kansas. Hogue was transported by ambulance to Ascension via Christie. Authorities are looking for a man who was last seen wearing shorts, no shirt, and driving a silver Chevy Malibu, possibly bearing the Kansas tag 177PAT. The vehicle was last seen after the shooting heading southbound from Quincy Street on US 69 highway. If you have any information regarding the shooting, authorities urge you to contact them 620-724-8274. Neosho Arts Council's Big Spring Gallery hosting work from a native son. It's the 27th year of the annual Thomas Hart Benton Art Competition and Exhibition. Officials say it's a chance for aspiring artists to show off their skills in a competition setting.
We get to know the painters in the area, and they are from some of the Joplin organizations, from JREC members, this year was interesting. We had a lot of new people that were not our regular artists. We have some of those too.
Thomas Hart Benton was born in Neosho in 1889. The exhibit will be open through October at the Neosho Chamber of Commerce. Joplin 44 Petro showing its appreciation for truckers with a Truckers Jamboree. Jamboree lasts 10 hours and features a variety of things to do, including a cookout, live music, and a petting zoo. It gives truck drivers the opportunity to be social and potentially see family members.
It's one of those things that has to be in you to be out here. Yeah, this trucking is not for everybody. A lot of people, you are missing home time. You are missing your kids growing up. I've got 5 kids at home. Actually, they're all grown now, but I've missed a lot of their time growing up.
Jamboree ran from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Well, letting your kid go out into the world when they grow up can be sort of a metaphor to letting a butterfly out of its cage. On Thursday, kids at Anderson Middle School did just that. One of the science classes watched caterpillars grow into butterflies and release them into the wild. Not only is this a good science class experiment, but it could also shape a child's future.
Have a small start to see what the kids would go with, where it would go. And right now we're looking at the fact that this is a class that is teaching life skills. We could have a future conservationist or park ranger or something.
Butterflies students watched grow were monarch butterflies. Well, this morning we're discussing the cost of a tailgating party.
That's right, and football for fall means football for many people, and for many people football means tailgating. But for those same people, tailgating also comes with unfortunately a growing price tag.
Recent report from Wells Fargo found tailgating costs are up, from beer to brats, even propane to fire up the grill. There's also the cost of gas to get to the game.
And despite those gas prices dropping, fuel still is up about 50 cents more than it was last year at this time. And experts say there are ways to trim the fat off your pigskin party. You might want to try substituting less expensive items like pork ribs or fresh vegetables, for example. After all, creativity should be a part of any party, including tailgating.
That's right, and that brings us to our question we've been asking this morning. How much do you spend for your tailgate party? So far, earlier this morning, the poll was 100% spend more than $100. So now, it's completely the opposite. Lowest range, 80% are voting under $50. And maybe they're part of a big tailgate where they're just one person and everybody pitches in like 20
a potluck.
Bucks. There you go. Potluck, yes. There you go. And then 20% are spending more than 100. Those are the ones that do it all themselves.
Well, tailgating is great. So we're hitting it into that season, and if you're heading out this evening to some of the football games, It looks like it's going to be a nice one out there. This morning we do have a few showers though up to the north and west, up in Coffee County around Burlington. We're going to zoom in and show you that. You can see from Burlington northward up to Ottawa, and then of course lots of rain across north central Kansas around Salina down to Hillsboro this morning. Unfortunately, this rain is going to stay to the north. We're not really expecting it to move southward into more of our area, despite the fact that we need the rain very, very badly. Temperatures this morning are in the mid-50s down in Oklahoma, 54 in Nowata, 55 in Veneta, a little bit warmer up into Missouri with Nevada checking in with 60 and 60 also over in Stockton. Right now, Neosho and Bella Vista are both checking in with 61. And planning your day, well, be a great day for an outdoor picnic at lunchtime with a temperature of around 79 degrees with partly cloudy skies. Then by this evening, heading home from work around 80 degrees. And then this evening with the start of the football games, generally temperatures in the mid-70s under partly cloudy skies. This afternoon, we're going to see temperatures in the mid-70s for your lunchtime with the showers staying up to the north. You can see that in our forecast. Maybe a few sprinkles making its way down here towards evening, but not really going to be a big factor. And then temperatures by tomorrow morning in the 60s. But check out tomorrow afternoon. We're going to see temperatures rising into the 90s and even breaking a record for tomorrow's high. I'll have the 7-day forecast coming straight up.
All right, welcome back. We've got Shannon Becker in studio this morning to give us his big 3 stories of the week. The first of which, of course, is like just happened.
Yeah. Talk about live and breaking news. That's what we try and focus on. It was yesterday morning during the morning show. An apartment fire in Joplin on 9th Street. We got there just as firefighters arrived and captured this live video.
Those flames are just incredible.
You know, and it went up so fast. Up to 30-mile-an-hour wind gusts, and you can see the front of that there. From the front, it didn't look too bad, but pretty much the back of it was completely gone. No one was injured. There were some pets that did die in the fire. Also, we've got a special package that we'll share on our KOAM News Now page about a man who woke people up to get them out of their apartments.
And we aired it earlier this morning.
It was really, and it's an amazing story.
Thank goodness he drove by when he did.
Yeah. Number 2, Joplin News First. Thank you to everyone in the 4 states for coming out for the Christian Hetty Foundation and the big day on Saturday. It was the inaugural event, and there were so many things going on. The 5K, well, you said your boys enjoyed the bouncy houses. Doug chopped off his shirt. His wife told me about this. She said, check that out. Cut off his shirt, made a headband. Not really a Shania Twain midriff. You know, remember how she really shook the world back then? Yeah.
I watched him, his team. Something about Got the Runs.
Yeah, We Got the Runs was their name.
We Got the Runs, their team name.
That's what it was.
They were playing against some
8th graders.
8th graders from Webb City.
And they lost.
Doug's team lost.
Yeah, Doug's team lost to the 8th graders.
But I will say the little kids had a little advantage because there was about 30 kids on the field.
Oh, really?
Like there was not an open spot out there to kick the ball.
I totally missed all that.
I don't know what the rules are in kickball.
I don't either. Well, I think it was number 1 was have fun and raise money.
And you have to have at least one person on your team with a cutoff shirt.
Yes, probably. I don't know if let's not repeat that next year. You know, I thought this was a family event. No, just kidding. I love that sign. Good job, random strangers. So thanks to everybody for coming out. We'll do this hopefully next year. Doug and his wife had said that they're still working on that as we remember.
They had live music.
Yeah.
Thank you to all the bands that came out
crazy.
and played. Yes.
Thank you to everybody, and to remember their son. So special. Our number 1 story, Michael Durison escaped early morning hours of Sunday from the Newton County Jail custody. So he was at Freeman Hospital Neosho, sort of a little scuffle with an officer there that was with him, and then he fled on foot. No shoes, white t-shirt, orange pants. Now he's probably changed that outfit obviously by now, but they did not locate him after searching all day long. They had 2 false arrests. It was not him. Everybody thought, oh, that's him, but nope, he's still on the run. Does have family in Joplin, and he is wanted in Louisiana on felony fugitive warrants. So if you know any information, contact the Newton County Sheriff's Office, or if you see him, call 911. And then our bonus story, it's all about the cash, right? Get that money, gimme, $472,000. Nobody's claimed it. The Missouri Lottery on Monday released details that a $472,000 ticket was sold.
That's the store it was bought at. Yeah.
5277 North Main. I was out there yesterday, last night late, checked with them. Nobody has still claimed it. Here, there are the numbers: 7, 18, 21, 24, 32, Sounds like sounds like a brick house, doesn't it? There. Oh yeah, those are some numbers. Discount Smoking Liquor on North Main sold it. So
it's a lot of money.
You have about 180 days to claim it.
Yeah, what happens if they don't?
It goes back to the Missouri schools, whatever their charity is for the Missouri schools. So that was really what the Missouri Lottery was founded on. The extra money goes to Missouri schools and education. So last year on West 7th Street, nobody claimed a $50,000 prize when a ticket was bought at Murphy's USA.
Just remembering, if this is your ticket and you're watching right now and we are the reason why you found out.
Yes.
Remember, Shannon and I told you first.
Shamelessly, I said,
yes.
Give us,
So Shannon and I would gladly help you get this ticket cashed in.
Oh, I was gonna say, you're gonna dig in the garbage? Because I'm not really into that.
No, but we'll just contact us and we'll call the phone number for you.
Sure, we can do that. So good luck and look for your ticket. It was sold sometime this last week. The drawing was over the weekend.
All right, well, thank you so much. Better get back out of there on the streets.
Oh, I know.
Get us that breaking news. You've been doing great.
Yeah, I feel like Chris Farley in this jacket.
We'll be right back.
And we have a pleasant morning here in the 4 states, but I wanted to take a moment and show you what's going on with Hurricane Fiona. Fiona has been quite a powerful storm, becoming a hurricane near Puerto Rico, moving across the Dominican Republic, then strengthened to a Category 4 hurricane as it moved through the Turks and Caicos. Fortunately, she has now started to dissipate just a little bit, but she's still a Category 3 storm at this point and is moving north and is expected to remain a hurricane as it comes ashore in Nova Scotia as we move into Saturday with winds of around 115 miles per hour. So kind of unusual to see the Maritimes of Canada affected by a hurricane this powerful. Then it's expected to become an extratropical low and basically move due north up into the Bering Sea, or actually just west of Greenland. And here locally, we're not dealing with hurricanes, we're just dealing with some showers up towards the north. We're going to zoom in and show you a little bit closer view around some showers near Burlington, extending over towards Garnett, or northward up towards Ottawa. This is all moving to the north and east, and unfortunately it looks like we're not going to see much rain here in the 4-state area today. Most of the showers are going to stay up towards the north, but temperatures are at least pleasant, generally in the 50s right now. 58 in Miami, 61 in Joplin, as well as Neosho and Bella Vista. A little bit cooler in Stockton, where they're currently 60 degrees. Still 54 at Nowata and Sedan for some of the coolest readings. A beautiful sunrise this morning. Here in Joplin, we're sitting at 61. It feels like 61. Dew point is 49, and the humidity is currently at 64%. If you're planning your day, we're going to make it up to around 82 this afternoon. Around lunchtime will be 79 degrees with partly cloudy skies, 5 p.m. 80 degrees, and then by the time the football games start, partly cloudy skies and temperatures in the mid-70s. This afternoon, we're going to see around lunchtime temperatures in the mid-70s, some showers up to the north, but very few and far between. Then as we go through the forecast, we're going to see temperatures rising into the 80s today, and then tomorrow we're going to start out near 70, and then record-setting temperatures in the afternoon. I'll be back in a little bit with your 7-day forecast. Also, you want to stay tuned because check out those stock prices coming up.
Well, a self-taught botanist is winning over fans with his salty language.
His latest bout was inspired by a giant 2,000-year-old tree. Here's Jeannie Moose.
Joey Santor swears by this giant ancient tree.
This is a beast.
We mean he literally swears by it.
That this is a big, wonderful organism right here.
Joey combines botany and profanity.
A big, beautiful. I tend to curse a little, but you guys can bleep it out maybe.
Oh yes, we can, Joey.
It's a wonderful beast.
This beast happens to be Mexico's oldest tree, maybe 2,000 years old. It's said to be the widest in the world.
Look at that.
Joey's sense of wonder in this and his 450 or so other videos shines through, even when he's not cursing.
The things that this thing has seen, what could this tree tell us about our own primate species if it could talk?
But if the tree could talk, would it be describing things the way this self-taught botanist from Chicago does?
Let's say visual orgasm. How's that?
Your whole delivery is sort of what?
I don't know. Chicago mook? Chicago slob? It's just kind of like a no-filter approach to communicating science, as they say.
He calls his enterprise Crime Pays But Botany Doesn't and sells merchandise that says,
Everybody's got to go out there and kill your lawn.
because Joey says lawns are unnatural and wasteful, but a tree like this?
Can you believe it's like a cathedral? Nature's the ultimate masterpiece.
Does anyone object to your kind of earthy language?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, totally. I don't do this to be liked. I do this because I'm excited and I want to share it.
And he has skin in the game. His.
A Calocortis lily, Arctostaphylos, manzanita on my hand. I got radiolarians. That's a single cell. This isn't even a plant. It's a single-celled plankton. Encelia, which is a genus of desert sunflower. Plants you can't really go wrong.
This is a guy who loves to mix.
Taxodium mucrodeum does grow very fast.
18-letter Latin terms with 4-letter words.
Look at how that thing's, it's incredible.
Ginimos, CNN, New York.
Okay, I was getting a little education on how you can learn from trees about
Yep.
the weather.
That's right.
You need to share this with everybody.
Yeah, dendrochronology, where they bore a core out of the tree, and then looking at the tree rings, you can actually tell what the climate was thousands of years ago. And they've done that with some of the bristlecone pine trees in the deserts of the Southwest because they live for a long time. And that's how we were able to discover the patterns of mega droughts, which is currently going on in the desert Southwest right now.
Which, if it was dry years, the rings would be closer together.
Exactly.
More growth on the years where it got more water, so
That's
the rings would
exactly
be
right.
further apart.
Exactly. And so from that, we were able to determine what the climate was long time ago when there was obviously no weather instruments back then.
Well, can you imagine the rings on this
Oh,
2,000-year-old
my
tree?
gosh.
Would they even allow you to drill into something like this?
Well, they have to be very careful about that because you don't want to destroy or damage the trees.
Yeah.
So Western Kentucky University is kind of the leading authorities on that kind of climatology. So pretty interesting stuff. Now I've heard of talking to your plants, but he sounds like he curses his plants, right?
In a good way. In a good way. Yeah.
Yes, in a good way.
I guess. A lot of bleeping necessary.
Yes,
there.
exactly. Well, there's no bleeping the weather. I wish we could bleep the weather because it's getting pretty bad out there. As far as the temperatures, we're going to see record-setting highs tomorrow. At least we have cool weather today and this morning. A few showers up to the north right now. And let's take a look at that in closer in view. You can see some showers near Garnett and extending on up towards Ottawa and just to the east of Burlington. Unfortunately, this is all going to move away from us, and so that means we're not going to have a much chance of rain today, and instead we're going to go back to dry conditions. Right now we're seeing temperatures in the 50s to right around 60 degrees. Pretty nice morning, not too bad. 61 in Joplin right now. Look at that beautiful sunrise. 61 in Joplin, feels like 61 because the dew point is at 49. The humidity is at 64% and the pressure is currently steady. If you're heading out to the football games, a beautiful night for that as well. Over in Nixa tonight, Joplin is playing them and the kickoff is at 74 degrees and then by halftime around 71 degrees with partly cloudy skies. Your forecast for this afternoon around lunchtime, generally in the mid 70s, maybe some sprinkles up to the north and cooler temperatures, but by afternoon, we're going to see temperatures rising into the mid 80s down in Oklahoma, lower 80s, and maybe even some upper 70s, and maybe 68 up there in Garnett for a little bit cooler. Maybe some sprinkles this evening around the area, not really going to be a big factor. Tomorrow morning, lows in the 60s, and then tomorrow afternoon, check this out. Record-setting temperatures, 92, 91 here in Joplin, a little bit cooler up to the north, but it's going to be pretty toasty across our area. Then we have a front moving through the area, which is going to bring in drier air and cooler temperatures for your Sunday, and that's pretty good news. And then we're going to move into Monday with lows in the 40s up to the north, 50s everywhere else. And then over the next 7 days, we're going to see temperatures again getting closer to normal early next week. Tanya, it looks like it's going to be a pretty nice weekend if you can stand the heat. So a high of 82 today, but tomorrow we're going to set a record with a high of 91, getting back to normal on Sunday with a high of 83. And then as we move into the early part of next week, highs near 80 and then lows in the 50s and 40s across the area. But it's going to be warm and dry throughout the entire forecast. And then if we extend it out to next weekend, we're going to see temperatures getting close to 90 degrees again, which of course is very close to the records for that time of year. So Tanya, I wish we had some rain on there, but unfortunately the dry weather continues and so does the drought.
Well, earlier this morning we shared that
Yes.
today was the anniversary of the date when Neptune was discovered.
That's correct. Yep.
Well, NASA is sharing a stunning view of Neptune and its rings taken by its James Webb telescope.
It's the telescope's first image of Neptune, and it's the clearest view of the planet in more than 30 years. When Voyager 2 flew by, the telescope is providing a crisp new view of the planet's ring system, and it's the first time NASA has seen them in the infrared. And the telescope picked up several bright, narrow wings, as well as the fainter dust bands. As for that light in the right upper middle of the image, that's not a star. That's Neptune's large and unusual moon, Triton, which reflects an average of 70% of the sunlight hitting it. Neptune has 14 known moons, and Webb picked up 7 of them in that picture.
That is a big moon.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Covered with lots of ice. That's why it's so reflective. And that's why it's so bright.
Neat.
Yeah. What do we got next?
Oh, we're done.
Oh, we're done.
Yeah. I'll let you take it.
All right. Well, thanks so much for letting us put the good into your morning. We'll be back with more news and weather here at noon.
Have a great morning and an even better weekend.